biographical material about his background, quite accomplished in his profession. And also we'll read some thoughts on the man, what he meant to his family. Jim was born in northwest Detroit on February the 11th, 1923. He grew up attending a Linden Baptist church, a German church. He played the organ for services there throughout his high school years. He also played string bass in the high school. While visiting Trinity Baptist Church, he met Joyce, his wife. They were married June 3rd, 1944. The first of their 5 boys was born in 1945, with another to follow every 3 years. Jim worked at Murray Body, then Kaiser Motors, and took classes for his engineering certificate. He started work at Chrysler in 1953 and worked 26 years as a design engineer with a focus on front-end work. At seemingly odd moments, he would point out to one of his boys the exact part he had designed on their current vehicle. Jim and his boys often remember and reference the past by what car their family was driving at the time. After his retirement at Chrysler, Jim worked as a contract designer for a number of years, mostly at GM, during the time Jim and Joyce began to split their time between their condo in Florida and their cottage in Traverse City. Concerning the man, Dad the man. And by the way, I might add that Dave, his son, was playing the accompaniment for our singing, and a very wonderful job. Thank you, Dave. His passions were his faith, his family, his church, his music, missions, and cars. That is the proper order, by the way. Faith, his relationship with God first. Always first. Family, then second. Then the church goes next, and the others that follow. Dad's faith touched every aspect of his life. His every prayer included his gratefulness for his salvation through Jesus Christ. He brought up his boys to know and serve the Lord. Wherever he lived, he was an active participant in the local church. He was an organist, choir director, deacon, an elder. I'm surprised not a pastor here somewhere. He climbed the ladder. He was generous with his time, his talents, and his money. He often said, giving is what you do after you tithe. And my, what a wonderful encouragement Dad was to me. Recently, when we went through our stewardship seminar at the church, and he was always good for a smile and a comment after the service. Sometimes you get comments, but not always positive after the service on stewardship. Dad delighted in his family. He was proud of their accomplishments, but even prouder of the people they are. He enjoyed the quirks and characteristics that made each one unique, and delighted in the arrival of each new grandchild and great-grandchild, as well as his nieces and nephews. At weddings and family get-togethers, he would turn to his wife with tears in his eyes and say, "Look what we started." At many family weddings, there would be the anniversary dance. All married couples were asked to participate. During the dance, the DJ would first ask couples married 1 year or less to sit down, then 5 years, 10, 25, 50, and on, so on. Dad was so proud that he and Mom were always the last one standing. 68 years of marriage last June. Just last Christmas, he celebrated with 40 members at a family gathering, with about 20 attending church with him that same day. Where were the other 20 at? He couldn't have asked for a greater gift, and I remember the occasion, and with great joy, he and Mom were in the service with all the family, and I believe they took several roles in our church. Dad was pretty shrewd, too. By splitting their time in their later years to Florida in the winter and Traverse City Cottage in the summer, he was assured that his family would want to visit. Who wouldn't want to visit Florida and Traverse City? His children and grandchildren have so many memories of time spent with him in both places, playing board games, you know, skip-bo, and watching the Tigers. Always his standard line was, "What's the plan? Where are we going to eat for dinner?" And I believe I heard him make that statement, "Where is the plan?" Or "What is the plan?" I have another note here from Jennifer, which would be his granddaughter. And she said, "I have many wonderful memories of Grandpa when I was growing up, mainly playing games around the card table, whether it be Yahtzee,
Pinochle.
Card player, Pinochle. Pinochle. Okay, great. It speaks well for a pastor when he can't know those games. You might have been suspicious if I just rattled it off. Uno, Skip-bo, and some of my favorite memories are the recent ones at his grandchildren's weddings over the past 10 years. I love dancing with Grandpa at my wedding during the family dance, for a dance that I shared with many of the important men in my family who shaped my life. It was so fitting that I led off dancing with a man who's my cousins and I looked up to our whole lives, and who has been the proud and loving patriarch of our entire Raetz family. But even more memorable than this dance, I loved how excited Grandpa was each time he, once again, won the anniversary dance at his grandchildren's weddings. As a dance that was rewarded the couple with the longest marriage, Grandpa was so proud to take the dance floor with the love of his life of 68 years and win the top honor, and there was never any close competition. I always teared up with pride at these moments, as Grandpa and Grandma have always been such inspiration and wonderful role models for me as I start my own marriage and look to them to guide me in leading a life full of love for God, my husband, my family. Most people that are close to my grandpa knew how proud he was of his family, but I hope it was just as evident to them how proud his family is of him. Wonderfully said. I asked Danielle, Dad loved to hear Danielle sing. I asked her to come and sing a song at this time. My daughter, who leads our music program at the church, and I appreciate that so much. God bless you, honey, as you sing.
I would just like to say very quickly is I always appreciated Mr. Raetz so much, and we'll miss his smiling face in our church and seeing it right there on the third row there. And my memories of him were always so sweet. He'd always come up and comment on the music and how it touched him, and every time he would say that, he would start to get teary-eyed. And to me, it just really showed his love, not just for music, but his love for the Lord. And I just appreciate and love him and his dear wife so much. So thank you for letting me be a part of this in honor of him. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. My chains are gone, I've been set free.
Thank you, Danielle. Just before we sing the last song that he requested, The Height of My Soul,